The end of the United States. What do you think? Is this it? Is this what is going to cause that? Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. Good to see you all here today. Everybody knows what's happened here in the last couple of days. The indictments of Donald Trump down in Florida. 40 counts, apparently. I don't know. I've heard 37, 38, 40. Doesn't matter. A lot of counts. Almost 40 counts, including many under the Espionage Act. I heard somebody say, who was it? Andy McCarthy pointed out that if all of them stuck, he'd be getting 400 years in prison. You think he could last that long? You think our country can last that long? It can't. So is this the end of the United States? I have a couple of things that pop to the front of my head right off. The first is that wouldn't be a bad thing. I know that'll shock people. First off, I think it is. But I think that end has been coming for a long time. And notice that I didn't say America. That's much different. And I'll be making another one on that, I think, pretty soon, because it stems from something else, and I will run in a new direction with that. I won't say a different direction. I'll say a new direction. But yeah, I think this very possibly could be, the final hammer blow that starts to fragment what was the United States. And in my opinion, and you all may agree, disagree with me, I don't know, the United States, when the United States of America changed from the states being sovereign states themselves and coming together as a united group, simply in mutual support and dealing with one another in certain things, in a very limited number of things, corporate defense, national defense, and those things, and a system of interstate legal system. When it changed from that to an inclusive corporate United States of America, that was the problem. When the state sovereignty disappeared, that's when our fall began. We've been falling ever since, and it had to come to this point. We have never been a nation, and I've made that point before. There's a difference between a country and a nation. A nation is a group of people held together by common history, common ideals, common religion, and common language, and a commonality of culture. Okay, that is a nation. The United States has never been a nation. The colonies for a while could have been considered a nation, but once the United States came together, it was an amalgamation of many different groups of people, each of whom had a number of things in which they did not share with the other groups, and whether that was religious, racial, whatever. It has been kind of a hodgepodge slammed together under this ideal of American identity. And that has always been, while some people, you've heard that idiotic saying, diversity is our strength. Diversity is not a strength unless it's diversity of abilities brought together in combination to achieve a greater good. Diversity is not a strength. Diversity in belief systems, in ideals, in goals, and things like that is a weakness. It is always a weakness. And it's the cracks between those groups in those different things that causes the fragmentation and finally the collapse of a country, and that's what we're experiencing. If you've read, and if you haven't read, I suggest you look it up, John Glubb's Fate of Empires. I've mentioned that a number of times before. I've put it in my books. By the way, if you haven't read my books, I don't have one right here. Maybe you should. Oh, here we go. I would definitely suggest, for those of you who have not, the Stonemont series, my books, in which I talk a lot about our history. It's a preparedness novel, a dystopian, post-apocalyptic, following a CME, everything comes down, and they have to rebuild community, society, and such as that. And I talk a lot about our history in this and what was wrong with it, what happened to it. And then I talk a lot about rebuilding after a total collapse, and many things people think that is really necessary. And in my current book, I'm talking about how different groups come together and are rebuilding essentially new sovereign states and countries based on those ideals that most of us share. These are available on Amazon. I'll put the link down below, or they're available through me on my stonemont.us website, stonemont.us. So if you haven't read them, and I think you'd like them, I think you'd be very interested in them, please do. But I talk a lot about, and Glubb explains in his Fate of Empires, which I also talk about in there, that's how I got onto that, that the average lifespan of an empire is about 250 years, give or take. And he goes through, he explains the stages of the genesis, the growth, the epic, the decline, and then finally the collapse of empires. And we are, and all of them share pretty much the same. They go through the same process. And we are in the decline and quickly approaching the end of it. We're following right along with Rome and all the other empires. And so, but this is the United States that's going through this, and it's going through it because it was not a nation, but was a corporate country. Okay, and because there are so many disparate groups within the country, and now we see that we're being run by all the victim groups. Because as so much of our society has declined, it's being run by those victim groups pushing their own little agendas, and a country like that cannot sustain itself. It simply won't. So this will be the collapse of the United States of America as a corporate country. Now, how long that will take, I have no idea. Who knows? It's been going on for a long time. Is it going to crash and burn, by next week? No, it won't. But now we're going to be going through the death throes. Excuse me. We're in those death rattles of a country. What the interesting and what the important thing is going to be is what we do as a result. What we do to come out of that, how we come out of the other side of that, and I think I'll save that for the next one. When we look on, I will save that, because I think we're getting into some things that are going to take me a little bit longer to talk about. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there, and I think I'll make the next one right after I shut this down. But, this is, in my opinion, the end of the United States. And it had to happen. It's too bad, because those of us who grew up in a strong United States of America, we had a wonderful life. But a wonderful life is not guaranteed. And sometimes the price is is the problems that we have to go through in the decline and then a rebuilding. So we will see. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there. The end of America? Yes. No, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. This is not the end of America. And I'll explain that in the next one. This is the end of the United States. Probably had to happen. So I will be interested in seeing your all's comments on this. Make sure that you join us over on the Patreon channel. I put a lot of stuff over there that never gets on YouTube. And as we go into, through the death throes of this country, sadly, there's going to be a lot more over there that you want to be aware of. So you all have a good day. Remember that America, not the United States, America needs a reversion, and I think we're about to see it. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.